Gonna get started recording.
Is this everybody? Or did a lot of other people bank on you being late?
Either, I think people probably got used to me being late. There is a possibility that a bunch of people dropped because things got hard, but I think it's probably more.
When did they get home?
Huh?
When did they get home?
I don't know. I haven't really asked for much yet, so.
It's also like 110 out. Most of it's like 110 outside.
Not gonna lie, I almost ditched one of my classes today because I've already had 2 heat strokes and I'm not looking for a third.
Don't you go dying on me.
I got water back there and sweet tea right there.
All right. Well,
Sweet peas not helping.
It ain't helping now.
Yeah, the 6 espresso shots in this thermos might not be the best hydrating.
But hey, you can't get dehydrated if you don't get hydrated, right?
that's right.
That's so true. My great uncle didn't drink a drop of water in Vietnam, so I don't know.
Did he make it out of there?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why he didn't drink a drop of the water in Vietnam.
He was, his family was sending him flasks of moonshine.
Yeah, I was actually on time today, so.
You gotta keep rotating. You can't just steal.
That was about the day when your GI trunk you carried like an SK or something. That's what I was doing.
Look, there's a line right here, a line right here, a line right here, and if you look really closely.
Nothing's sustainable. Bro, when have I ever done that? No, oh, you made that joke.
Yeah.
You're the,
I did make that joke.
Are you kidding me? Mexican.
That
One keeps going.
Yeah, it was
like
pretty accurate.
Stephen A. fakes his own funeral, and Max is speaking at it. He's like, Stephen A. was a good man. And he was like, are you telling me that a man who would fake his own funeral just to see what other people say is a good man?
Yeah, ESPN did a bunch of stuff.
No way. That's funny.
Okay, go in here, make a file, and then you're gonna learn how to use that.
Yep. What's on paper?
Do you register?
No.
I watch multiple videos now, I understand.
Why don't you register?
Because I can't handle it.
No, you're already good at vegan, so what's the point?
Because I'm not getting graded on
Okay, I get
it. I'm still learning the material, but I'm not getting graded on it.
I just get credit.
It doesn't need it.
I know you don't need credit.
See, yeah, this is not a like.
All right, folks. So, all right. So there is an auth.log file on Canvas now that you can download. January 12th, 2022.
Did you not just post it?
I just did a second ago. But I just love how it says the date modified was January 12th, 2022. I have touched this file like 1,000 times since then. But Canvas has bad record keeping. So. Yes, sir. They don't care because ETL covers Canvas. So.
But yeah, the OIT are always the ones that send you the stuff saying, hey, so this is not going to be happening anymore, and the canvas is not going to be the way it is anymore because we just don't want to. So here's a new thing, and we don't know what it is, or where it's going to be, or when it's going to be.
Or how it's going to work, or any of that stuff.
So I've got a question.
I've got an answer.
Yeah.
Do you happen to know list of tools we will be using from Cali throughout this,
Oh, the lab that I want.
or at least the majority?
Is there a particular tool you're looking into? Or?
No, I'm just, I like to run minimal install Ubuntu.
Okay.
And
And
just
then
drop in
just,
what I need.
yeah, you should be able. I'll try to look out ahead, but some of it also is going to be self-directed, right? Because you're going to do your own project, and so.
I mean, I've got Cali on here.
Yeah, I didn't see that new version of Cali dropped yesterday.
Yeah, what we're doing today, you don't need to. You can use. We're going to write our very first batch script today.
I mean, I've got tools pre-installed because I've got like a template of Ubuntu. You know, I can get stuff like in there.
Bro, I swear I wrote something.
I might get like a way to install that.
I did not.
I've got a bad script right here.
It's a joke.
I don't know if it'll work. For my,
That was my terrible
downloading
thing.
files, if somebody wants to like, get any of the
Yeah.
movies that-
Interesting, you can go hang out with the developers in this Discord, Cali.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, the developers are in here.
oh, that's very cool. The only problem is they're foreign nationals, and
No, I've watched some of
if I start hanging out with them, then I got to put them on a form for my claims.
Yeah, so we saw your shirt saying the new movies came out.
Oh, this is different, this is.
So yeah,
this
they
is
kind of
in
just
South.
like talk about Cali in general and Golden Hub and other stuff.
Well, that's very cool. I'll take a look at it.
Yeah, it's called Cali Linux and Friends.
Sweet.
Yeah, been in it for since like
Oh.
we're in this year.
Yeah.
Good for you, man.
looking at you like, what the?
Okay, Google Drive does not want to work for me right now, so. So go ahead on your Kali or your Linux instances. Let's go ahead and log in to Canvas and pull down that auth.log file. Because we're going to be messing around with that.
I started to run the VMware on my rig that I bought last year, but I hadn't set up any of the Hyper-V on it.
Oh,
And it was like, hey, so you can't do this. I had to go to my BIOS and tell AMD, hey, we're going to
Enable, virtualization feature.
yeah.
didn't have to on this.
Sometimes you'll be stuck in a
Yeah, I told somebody that I would make a dual boot box for them, Windows and Kali, and they had this weird UEFI protection on there, and I was like, oh man, I was going back and forth with that trying to get it.
It's
It
a pain to get it to work.
Spent hours. It was very difficult. Yeah.
It's been like 4 hours, and then even. It was good. If you don't want your random laptop. And I did too.
I wanted to go to the.
I was like, I didn't go way out of the way to like that.
No, we didn't try, but.
Yeah. It was pretty nuts.
They're, they have like this continuity that's just like.
Oh, I guess I have to plug the HDMI in for that to
Like,
actually
it's
show
so
up.
stinking strong. Like one ice cube, like that kind of ice cube is like a whole Really? Yes. So you put 4 of those in there, it's got 4 cups of coffee strong worth of stuff. I mean, like the guy was.
All right. So if
it's
you
the
go to
same
this
wallpaper
class,
as your other wallpaper.
But this is on my VM though. That's what makes it special.
can you guys see
So
files?
you can package that up and send it.
Yes.
Look at mine. You see a
Okay.
picture on it?
I will be patient.
Well, let's hear your command prompt.
Don't usually get to Canvas in my DMs.
You changed your password
What password?
for that. Yes, because it's not how you read you.
Oh, no, that's, no, I set this up from the ground up.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, no, not from the ground up. Let me rephrase that. I installed it. So like, I made my own user and stuff. I didn't do the pre-made.
Install from an ISO versus importing an OPA.
Yeah.
All right. So in SSH Security Lab, you should see a file called auth.log, and that's what we're going to
I was
do.
able to. This is just the stuff you have. Is it a slideshow?
No.
Just this.
Now, on my Dell, it is a slideshow.
Yeah, because I think I've seen that before.
Mm-hmm. I can't just pick one. So I just have Azure Lane.
Let me make sure that the structure HDMI is going to the remote PC. Okay. Okay, so I've got this auth.log file here. And I am going to actually move this so it's in my home/Kali directory. Clean this up a little. Okay. All right. So looking for some feedback from you guys. Are you guys here at the same place that I am right now?
Yes.
You've got opt.log downloaded.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is make a new folder in here. So you don't have to do this on the command line. You can do this way. And I'm just going to call it bash scripts. And then click create. Make a new folder called bash scripts. And I'm going to go into that folder. So one really cool thing that you can do is you can right click in here and say open terminal here. Now, probably in a subsequent class, I'm going to start. We'll talk about terminal for a little while, and I really prefer a program called Terminator. I think it's pretty awesome, and allows you to do all kinds of cool splitting and things. For what we're doing today, we're really not going to need to split that much. So, let me see if I remember how to make this a little bit bigger so people can see it. Okay, there we go. All right. So, we can look at our history by just typing history. And I'm going to pipe that to less so we can go through there. So we can see the last time we were here, these are the things that we put on the command line. Do you guys remember any of this stuff? Let's do a quick recap.
Yes.
What is PWD? Print working directory. So what does that do?
Shows you which directory.
It prints on the screen the current directory you are in as you type.
Yes, it does. What about this touch new file?
Makes a file.
Yep, it creates a new file, right? And it's an empty file, okay? What about make dir or mkdir space new dir?
Makes a directory, aka a folder.
It new dirs you, right? It makes a new directory called new dir, right? MK directory. So what we didn't talk about is when we're trying to remove things, right? So let's just do this touch new file dot text. I'll show you what's in there. And we want to get rid of that. We just do rm. I'll tab complete there, new file dot text, and hit enter. There we go. So you can, that seems kind of dangerous. In Windows, if you try to delete something, what does it do? It pops up a little thing that says, hey, are you sure? You can actually turn that on. It used to be on by default. You can actually turn that on where it will ask you if you want to remove stuff in the settings. But it's super annoying, and most of the time you want to remove stuff. Now, I had a friend in grad school named Raja who didn't know how to scope things properly. And he would be doing something. He liked to work out of the home directory. So see how we're in /bash scripts? If he wanted to do that, he would stay in his home directory, and he would type make directory, or here, we'll just say touch. And he put the full thing in there, /home/Cali. Oh, I need 2 slashes there. Get rid of that. Probably would have been okay.
So he'd start the whole process from the root all the way up to
Yeah, so he'd write this whole, if he wanted to work in the bash scripts directory, even if he was going to be there for a while, he would stay in his home directory and just type out the absolute path, which was nuts, because this is what happened. He would say new file .txt, right? And then say oh shoot, I didn't want to call it new file. Another thing he'd do, instead of renaming a file, he'd just delete it and make a new one. And so he would now type in rm. He's like, well, there's only one file in there, so I'll just do star.star. And do not hit enter on this, because he's not in that bash scripts directory. Where is he? /home/Cali.
So you've got to overwrite everything in.
So he's about to delete everything, right? I can't tell you the number of times. We had hourly backups there. And so I can't tell you the number of times he had to restore everything from backup because he was operating that directory. So I recommend, if you're going to be working in this bash scripts directory, right now the problem is we're going to be looking at this auth.log file. So here's what I suggest you do. CD and then your bash scripts directory. Once you're in there, do cp, do /home/Kali/auth.log, right? So copy, you give copy the file that you want to copy, and then what you want, where you want it to be, and what you want it to be called. So we can just do a dot here if we want to keep the same name, and we want to put it in the current working directory, which is where we are. We're in /home/Kali/bash scripts. We don't have to type that out. We can just push the dot. So when we hit enter, now if we do ls, there's a copy of that auth.log file there. All right, I'm going to get rid of this new file. Okay, so I've got my auth.log. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to create my first bash script, right? We're going to learn. So on the command, do you remember when we did this? Echo. Sorry. You can make yourself a little sentence. Yeah. I'll tell you what, when you do your dissertation on spelling correction, it is very hard to spell check your dissertation because you can't use an automated spell checking tool because you have thousands of references in there and examples of spelling errors, and so it takes hours if you do it that way. So when I presented about my dissertation research anywhere, they were brutal to me if there was a spelling error in my stuff. All right, so I'm just going to make this. I'm going to make this what I want it to echo, and if I hit enter to make sure it comes out right, oh crap! Well, maybe I shouldn't use that. This exclamation point, because it turned blue, so I know something's going on. So I'm going to press Control-C and save myself there, then hit the up arrow, and then I'm just going to close that with a quote and then hit enter. All right, watch it, Max Kellerman. All right, so what I want to do is I want to make a bash script that's going to print out watch it, Max Kellerman. Okay, so I'm going to use a handy tool called Nano. Yes, you can use VI for this if you want to, perfectly fine. If you know what you're doing, you can do that. But we're going to use Nano because it's a very lightweight tool. So I'm going to say Nano, and the name of the new file. So I'm going to call this my first bash script .sh. Now that .sh is kind of important because you're telling Linux that this is a shell script. Now I hit enter, and it opens up Nano and creates this file. So we now have an empty file that we can work this out in. Okay. So the first thing that we need to put in there is called a shebang. Now the reason it's called a shebang is because we put a hash and then a bang. Right? Josh, do you want to share what you found out about the history of why it's called bang? Because I didn't know.
So it has one of two etymologies. One is that during the typesetting era, when they would do an exclamation point, it would make a bang just because of the size it was, and so they would call it a bang. Or it could also come from the onomatopoeia from comic books. Every time you have a wham, pow, you'd always have an exclamation mark on the end. Bang!
Yeah.
Exclamation mark.
So I don't know why it's called that. Nobody knows for sure. There's maybe some guesses about why it's called that. But that is what it's called. I forgot to check the pen up there and make sure. Okay, good. So when you put a hash in front of it, this is a very common linguistic thing. So hash bang, hash bang, hash bang. When you say it fast, and also because you can't have sh and b at the beginning of a sentence or a sound in English, we don't say shbang, shbang. So there's something called epenthesis, where, yeah, okay. Yeah, I heard it, the 6th grade version, right?
Bro.
So you put, it's called epenthesis, so we put a little vowel in there. That's why when people have African names like Mbaru, we don't say Mbaru like they do, we say Mabaru, if you ever hear that. Because we stick that extra vowel in there because we don't have M and B together like that at the beginning of a syllable. So it's shebang. So that's, if you hear shebang, that's what they're talking about. So in this case, what we're trying to do is give Linux a heads up that we want it to process this file using bash. So we tell it, and we give it the location where bash typically is. So we're going to put /bin for binaries, and then bash. Right? And now we can just put the exact command that we typically put on the command line. So we have this echo, and then your message. So I had watch it, Max Kellerman, but I'll say this is my first bash script. All right, so we want to save this. So there's a couple ways to do it. You look at the bottom, you see that little caret? That's control here. It's just saying your meta character and then what you push. So caret and O will let you write the file. It'll say, what do you want to write it to? And you can hit enter if you have the name, or you could change the name if you wanted to. And now it's written there. And now I can do Control X to get out. Now I could just do Control X and it'll ask me if I want to save, and I can do that. However, that's a little bit more dangerous. That's like closing out Excel and relying on it to prompt you to save. And you really want to you hope it does that. I'm not going to say that I don't do that sometimes, but it's probably easier to do Control O and then make sure it gets written out. All right. Dawson, you're having real fun in this class. Must be nice to not worry about your grade. Because you're not officially enrolled, so I can't do anything to you. All right, so now I need to run this script. So let's just try typing the name. Ooh, okay, it's like, I don't know what you want me to do, so it just doesn't like that. So how do we run it? Well, we can do sh and then the name of it. Now if I start typing, let's just try this. Ta-da! Yay! We did it! Ouch. So there's another way we could run it, but it says permission denied. So if I do an ls-la, look at the permissions. So look at the permissions on this file. There's only read-write permissions. Read-write permissions for me as the owner. There's no execute permissions. So I have to change that. Okay? So has anybody made it to that module yet in test out where it talks about permissions and how to change them?
I haven't.
Dawson's got his hand up. All right, Dawson. How do we do that? How do we add execute permissions for the owner?
chmod, and then you can just, I normally just use 755, and then the...
Okay. So the 7 means, so there's 3 numbers, and each represents, it's the owner, the group, and then everyone. So 7 means the owner gets read, write, and execute, or that person gets read, write, and execute.
The owner.
Yeah. The first number tells you that's for the owner, and if it's a 7, you get all 3 permissions. All right, so what does the 5 do? Guess what? It's free. Let's try it.
It gives a read and write.
I hit the up arrow to go back to this. How did it change?
Read and
Okay, read and execute. So we can change this chmod, and that's typically how we say it. Or if we do 733. Yeah, or chmod, whatever. Okay, 733. The 3 gives write and execute. Well, we really just want to give read permission. So how do we get it back to where it's just read permission?
What if we do 7, 1, 1? 7, 11. Oh, that's executed. That's not what we want. So let's try 7, 22. We could also look it up. Oh man, we're just fumbling around everywhere. We tried 7, 1, 1, 7, 2, 2. Let's try 7, 4, 4. We tried 7, 3, 3. Yeah. Okay, there, we finally guessed it. How else could we do it? Key.
Do a chmod plus X to add execution.
All right, well, let's take it away first. My first basket.
It's the new way to do it.
Okay, so there we go. Read and execute. What if I want to add write permissions for the owner? Chmod plus W. And then what?
I typically just do that for the file, so I give myself permissions. Oh, well, you have to give the file name. Sorry,
You're good.
I made assumptions.
All right. So that plus W, by default, changed it so the owner had permissions there. So if we went back to the way that it was before without the X, and can you do chmod, minus X?
Yes.
Oh, that's because I didn't do that right. Okay, so we just took execute permissions away. Well, let's give them back. No. We really want to have execute permissions there.
So before you took away, or you added the X, we only had to read it, right?
So it still let me run it when I pushed the SH. I put SH in my first bash script. It let us run it. Okay, but if I want to run it directly by just doing // so in this directory, I want to run my first bash script .sh. It should work now theoretically.
It's the first time you executed the bash command and then pointed it at a file, so they didn't care what the permissions were. Whereas here, you're just trying to run the file. The file's not runnable.
So if you get permission denied, you'll know to look at those permissions, right? And sometimes you'll get permission denied because it's you're trying to do something that is a protected system thing. And you might need to use sudo for some stuff. Okay, so now we have been able to write a bash script. Okay? Has everybody been able to do that? Raise your hand if you got it, if you had trouble getting that to work. Because we need to get to the point where everybody can get a bash script to work before we move on. Sick? Okay. So people and other folks in the group, make sure everybody in your group can do that, and I'll start coming around, and I'll check with each group to see. I'll start over here since I saw a hand up. All right. I want to make sure everybody can get a bash script. Okay. Were you guys able to get a bash script? Can you try to help me? Not that I don't know how.
I don't see a file.
I'll come back and check on you and make sure that works.
So that means, did you already write it?
I was still.
Oh, that's what. Yeah, so actually, you don't need to do that.
So you can go back and watch it.
I can just nano.
I didn't get anything.
You don't have to have anything break out for that.
So what you do instead is just do MV and then new file.
Rename it.
Yeah, rename to that.
Oh, the alpha? You're not gonna do anything. Right, we're going to do that in a minute, but we don't know how to spell my bash script.
Well, more like put capitals into it?
No.
No? Okay.
I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter.
No, I needed to be exact.
Right, so we use
It's like finance and
space, no.
I've never.
I call it my first bash script, but you can call it my script.
You're more intelligent than me. No, I'm just dumber than Cause I'll get to the point and be like, this ain't working.
We'll wait for him to get there.
I think it's just
Oh, no, I put SH.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Upkeep.
That should work just fine.
and then control X.
Control X, and it'll ask if you want to save it. You say yes. I can try. And now you should be able to run that back.
There is one.
I need to do that. Nano. Nano's a little tool to use. Space.
Was it
Have a name
fast?
to your file.
Yeah, shebang.
Okay, so nano.
Okay, so you're gonna type hash.
Oh, yeah, you already got it.
Shift 3.
Alright.
And then that
No, we're just like
what does it do? Just get the
Right, you get it? So then you slash.
Hit enter again. You don't have to, but I mean,
So-
that's
So now what you need to do is you need to see it.
Don't forget, when you, I forgot, so it automatically brings it only to you have to do slots.
The way that you do that is CH1, and then you can, just do plus W.
whatever you want to say.
Because that's 775. Then, after that, you want to give the name of the file.
You have to make sure that you put it in quotation.
Because what that's going to do is it's going to get a read.
I got two.
So it'll run it.
Oh,
It'll run it like this. So if I do this.
I have
If you do this. then-
I want to see if we use Python. I don't know if it does.
Enter. And then control X.
That's a word.
Now you should be able to type SH. Space. My script.
but it just keeps on putting
No, because it's not.
Tab.
Yeah.
So it's giving you full access to the bot, right? That's why you use. Never mind. It's just
Plus X. Plus X. Plus W.
Wait, plus W plus X?
It don't matter.
Name of your file. Type the first letter, and then hit tab. And then enter. It should come the message.
What kind of show
See how it changed colors?
Oh my god, what kind of idiot are you? You even have to.
When I was in first grade, right, I never thought spelling mattered. So I just kept cheating. That's the problem.
Why would you need to?
Dude, because my mom would look at that, bro, and it was like a big thing, bro. Like, did you do good spell? I didn't know what to do the work, so I found it right away.
Alright, I'm gonna drink the water and then I'm gonna finish checking on the rest of it.
All y'all good?
Oh, so that gave it read and execution permission. I know that did right here. Oh, so that right there.
My daughter graduated from St.
Yeah, it's
That was
gonna
my first guy.
So that just runs the command. It just. Yeah, so that right there is just category.
Alright. We good here?
Remind me to adding it and doing all the permissions and stuff just to get the same.
So like, it's running the command echo this, so like, for example, so this right here, I'm going to do this, let's see.
Oh, it's running the command instead of the word, not input.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, that's what that was. Alright. Congratulations, everybody has written a bash script now. When AI takes over the world, you will be able to communicate with the overlords. Alright. Okay, so now we're going to figure out something that we can do, and then we're going to make a script to automate it, okay? What I want to do is, so you guys took a look at those auth.log files. What did you find in there that was interesting? Let me go ahead and pull that up there. If I do ls, okay. All right, so here's my auth.log file. As I go page down in here, watching system buttons, server listening on whatever. Session open for user root.
That's what you have to Python dash.
Failed password, authentication failure.
Whatever thing that you want, then you can run whatever script that you want to run.
Cron jobs, right? So let's do something together. I'm gonna get out of here.
But what I did is, this is a Python script that I wrote for like generating random stuff. So, like I put that in the, what is it, bin? No, it's not bin. It's etc. I forgot what it was. What? Where's Python modules stored? I forgot.
Is that /bin/python or /bin/python3?
Yeah, something like
You
that.
can just type in which.
Which?
Yeah,
Python?
which
Let's do that first.
Python. Oh, user bin Python.
User, it is user. Which is funny because there are the same commands like ls and awk and grep are files themselves in the root directory, in the bin, and in the user. It's like well,
So yeah, user bin Python. So that's what you want to do is if you want to run it using Python -m because that's a module.
Okay.
That in there.
So going back to where we were looking at, I just looked at this auth.log and I decided, well, cron jobs, these are things that are running automatically. I want to know what all cron jobs are running on this machine. Based on looking at these auth.log files, I can see, if I go down here, that there's some cron stuff. If only there was a way that I could look at all the lines that said cron in it to see if there's anything of interest.
Just grep does.
Yes! It's my goblin friend grep. Okay? So what do I type? I type grep, and then a space, and then what I want it to look for. I want it to look for cron, and then a space, and then where I want it to look. And I want it to look in auth.log. Because I've put that file in my directory that I'm working in, I don't have to put anything else. But if I was working in a different directory, like my friend from grad school, I would have to tell it the full path to that file. So now I'm just going to hit enter. And it's going to throw up all over my screen. So what I want to do now is do the same thing. I hit my up arrow, and then I'm going to pipe that to less. And hit enter. All right, so now I can see my screen. So what does this say? Session open for user root. There's lots of these. So what does one of these lines give me? It gives me a date, a month, a day, a time. And a lot of these month and days and times, looks like there's two. They're in pairs here. So as I look through here, they look like they're in pairs. So what I want to do is try to figure out what else do I get. So month, a day, a time. I get an IP address. I get a process ID, and then the session closed business. Right? Session closed, session open. So that's why we have two different times, right? So it looks like this thing is doing it where like it opens and it closes in the same second. So that's kind of interesting. But I want to see how often cron jobs are running. So do I want to have both of these timestamps? Do I need a timestamp that says the exact same thing? No, right? So I want to get rid of some of these lines. I want to get rid of these duplicates. So there are several different ways that I can do that. Probably the easiest way right now is if I use grep to get rid of lines that say closed. And if I did, then that would just give me one. It'll only give me the timestamp for when it's opened. So if I hit Q, I can get out of grep. I can hit the up arrow to get my last thing. I'm going to remove less, and I'm actually going to feed it to grep again. Remember, the pipe is like the laundry basket where you're grabbing it and handing it over. Okay? So I'm going to use that pipe and I'm going to send it to grep again. And this time I'm going to use the minus little v. And minus little v says, give me the things that don't match this. So I'm going to look for closed. And if you don't have a space in your thing you're looking for, you don't necessarily have to put quotes around it, but I just like to do that. It's good practice. And then, do I need to put the file? No, because it's going to look in what's already in that laundry basket that I'm handing it. So I'm going to pipe this to less, and then hit enter to see my output. I'll wait just a second. Now, it's going to be important this semester when we're going through these demos. If I'm going too fast, you have to tell me. I need you to stay with me. I am recording, but there's nothing worse than going through some demos and then you end up behind, and so you naturally zone out. You don't know what's going on. You're not in the driver's seat. So you have to tell me to slow down, okay? I'll try to take some natural pauses for a minute where you guys can ask folks, make sure that people in your team are keeping up. And group leads, team leads, you should be making sure that if you see somebody's having trouble, let me know. What happens if your machine just isn't going to work that day? Should the whole class shut down? No. Slide over and maybe take turns driving with somebody else in your group's machine. Right? So what am I doing? I'm looking in the file auth.log for the word cron, and then I'm looking for the word closed, and I'm giving everything that doesn't match that. So in theory, when I hit enter, it should pipe to less only the lines that say session open, cron sessions that are open. So if I hit enter, looks like that's what I've got here. Session open, session open, session open, session open. Lots of session opens. When I say lots, maybe, double handful. Okay, so I'm going to hit Q. Well, really, I just really want to have, I don't care about all this other crap. I don't care about the process ID, really. I don't care about this stuff. I just really care about this date and time. That's all I want to pull out of this file. So which one of our friends are we going to use to get just the date and the time? Huh? Yeah, we're going to use our friend Cut. Remember the little kindergartner that loves to use scissors? So we're going to hit Q, and we're going to get rid of less, and we're going to type cut. And then what do we need to type?
How much of it do we want?
Well, we need to tell Cut what to cut on. So what should we cut? How do we tell it what to cut on?
You look for a delimiter.
Yeah. So dash D for delimiter, and then we tell it what character to cut on.
We're gonna use just space, and then use just separate fields.
Yep. So I put what I'm going to use as the delimiter in quotes. You can sit in here. It's fine. All right.
Just screwing with these two.
And now I need to tell it what I want to keep. So I want to keep field 1, 2, and 3. So Keith told us what to put for that last time. A 1-3. I can also do 1, 2, 3. But that doesn't make any sense. If I wanted to skip 2 and just have 1 and 3, I would do 1, 3. Or I could do 3, 1 if I wanted to change the order that they showed up in. All right? So maybe I want the month to come first. Maybe I want the day to come first. Maybe I want the that little hour group, the time to come first. I really just want it to be in the order that it's there. So I'll just do 1, tack 3. And that'll give me fields 1 through 3. So if I hit enter, what do I expect to see? Well, I need to pipe this to less. I expect to see that month, the day, and the time from each one of these entries. Remember, we've gotten rid of the closed. So this should tell me every cron session that was open and the time frame that this auth.log covers. Okay, so this tells me all the times that a cron session has been open. What pattern do we see here?
January.
What? Well, of course, so January 11th, January 12th, right?
It's
Oh.
happening sequentially
Yeah, so this guy's an outlier. This 2306, right? But we see 2117, 2217, 2317, 017, 117, 217, 317, right? And my guess is if we go down, if it covers 23, we're going to, in that hour, we're going to see a 2306 again. But it cuts off. So most likely what's happening is one cron job is running every hour on the 17th minute. And we've got a separate cron job that's running every hour on, or every day at 2306. Okay, so this is kind of neat, right? We pulled that out of that auth.log file. So now what we want to be able to do is we want to create a bash script that we can give an auth.log file to, and that bash script is going to print out for us every time, or every cron job that's running in that auth.log file. Right? This is the first assignment of this class, is you have an auth.log file, and we want to do exactly what we did, but we want a bash script that's going to do that. All right, how are we feeling right now? On a scale of 1 to 10, how hard do we think this is going to be?
0. It depends on if he's going to repeat it, because I was dealing with permission issues.
Yeah, that is one of the problems in this course when everybody is, and this lab is everybody is working on their own machine, so you might get distracted a little bit. You got to try to, you can't move forward when you have certain issues. So
bash script that does what?
yeah, so what we're trying to do, what we just did together is we had an auth.log file, and we wanted to find out some information about the cron jobs that were running in that file. So when we were done, we got it to make a list for us of the month, day, and time that all the cron jobs were running. And when we looked at it, it was very easy for us to determine that we had a cron job that was running every hour and one that's running every day. So every hour on the 17th minute, there's a cron job running. And every day at 2306, there's a cron job running. So we were able to determine that just by pulling out these dates and times that cron jobs were running. It made it abundantly clear what's going on. So what we want to do is now make a bash script. Instead of us having to type this line out and find a file and type a line out, what we want to do is we want to make a bash script that we can feed an auth.log file to as an argument. So we'll type it my bash script and then feed it auth.log as an argument, whatever our auth.log file is, and it will spit out all of the times that a cron job was open. The day, month, day, and time that a cron job was open. So we're doing the same thing that we did here on the command line. We want to make a bash script that we can feed a file to. All right? What have we not covered so far that you might need?
How to take an argument.
Yeah, how to take an argument, right?
I used to know how to do that, but I forgot.
We haven't talked about arguments in Bash, right? Okay.
I think we glossed over it last class.
Yeah, if you had 477, then you might have seen this. But we really didn't do this in 460 or 401.
Well, I think when you were given command structures, you had discussed argument being there.
Right.
I don't think that we went into depth.
We haven't talked so far about bash script, how to let a bash script take an argument, right? So, that's something we need to work on. So, what I'd like to do, we have about a half an hour left of class. What I'd like to do is I want you guys to work in groups, trying to see if you can. You have my command. You see what we did together here to get the end result. This is the operations that need to be performed on that file. So can we make a bash script that does this? So first order of business is to figure out how to feed an argument to a bash script. How to have a bash script take an argument. The second order of business is how to do these operations to whatever is brought in as an argument. And then the third thing is, how are you going to print out the results? Okay? So I'd like you guys to kind of work on this for the next half hour of class, and I'll be walking around, right? So again, break it down into pieces. Don't worry about this data right here, okay? Break it down into 3 separate problems that you need to figure out, and then you can put them together. So first thing is, how do you have a bash script accept a file as an argument? Second problem, how do you take that file that's accepted as an argument and then perform operations on it? And then third problem, how do you print the result of those operations? Okay? All right, I'm going to go get a drink, and then I'll walk around to the groups.
I'm just gonna try to figure out how to do it.
That still doesn't work, right? My breath is still white.
It's after you're done. It'll be white the first time.
So what exactly do you want to do? Like, do you want to like,
I know, do you want the grep command in there?
Yes, we just took this file that long,
What we're trying to figure out.
and we found some interesting information.
on your-
We got it to print out when every cron job started. So I don't want to have to go to an opt-out log file.
We gotta, so we gotta, like, it's gonna be a
What I'd like to do is have a
yeah,
bash
and we
script.
need to input.
I'd like to say, hey,
We put Python into there.
pull out,
Well, we don't
pull
need-
out
we're gonna
cron
do
opening file.
I'm reading right now.
I want
It
to
says
say,
this.
point it at
Very
an opt-out
common
log
type
file.
of name of the file,
Print out
file.
every time.
Following line, you type command
So we're trying to do a bash script that's gonna. So right now we don't want to take user. Right now, all we want is to be able to make a script that we can point at an alt.log file, which will print out for us every time a cron job is done.
So we need user.
That's all we're looking for. So you should be able to use these commands here, these commands in this order, in your file, in your script.
Why do you always need the hashtag?
So you have to put /bin/bash after that. So you're telling it this is a bash script, right? If you wrote a Perl script or a Python script, you would.
That's not. Yeah, but they we gotta wait.
I was just telling you this.
that's what it would do in its own.
You okay? All right, my job is to push you outside of your comfort zone. If you're outside of your comfort zone, that's a good thing, all right? My job is also to get you back into your comfort zone doing this when this is over. So imagine at the end of the semester, when you have your completed project, which is a bash script, which actually performs some cybersecurity function. And you're going to be able to put this on your GitHub, and you're going to be able to tell people about this when you do job interviews. This is a good thing, okay? I know it's difficult now. It's like the first day of cross-country practice when they're making you do sprints. I'm making you run, and you're not in shape yet, but you will get in shape, okay? All right, you guys understand what the problem is? Good. I'm glad. Be honest, okay? So what I want you to let me actually write.
So I'm using read and then file name, but you'll need a prompt before that, so it's not a one-liner. But I'm doing it this way because this is the way that
Oh, you don't have. Okay, that's what.
dash in, what a dash in does is it just doesn't include a space like a blank line. So it's kind of like minus the backward slash. Anyways,
Oh,
so.
on the actual space, so all I did was then I
Sure.
the dash.
Sure.
And then literally the next.
Yeah, you give it a shot.
Yeah, currently I have the name of the file. I'm trying to figure out how to
And then.
so am I putting the ones?
In the
Yeah.
So it pointed out that.
Yeah.
I think he just was trying to, for now, I think he was just trying to make us back.
Oh, I think I didn't put all
Oh, wait.
because in the file, no, I didn't put.
Oh, that's also.
Okay, no, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, did you have?
So you guys have written a bash script. Granted, it's a very small bash script, and all it does is print something to the screen. Okay? But what we're trying to do
And then once I ran
is
it.
have a
Really?
file
I can't see.
that we can take.
So this is
I can
all
help
you
them.
do.
So instead of
these.
kind of like talked about, we want to put our
Oh,
script.
because look, that's what I did. I just put that command in.
So,
okay, you have a file, right? You made
That's
it.
what you're looking at now. Just research.
Yeah. So you touch it.
How do you take the file?
Yeah, translate that.
Oh, I didn't touch it. So we're gonna.
Or nanoed a file.
Nanoed what?
You nanoed a file and then you
I don't know.
exactly.
That's the question.
Echo and then.
All right, so it looks like people are struggling with this just a little bit of really understanding what's going on. So let's let you guys work for 13 minutes, and at 10 till, let's focus right now just on that first thing. How do you take a file as an argument to a bash script? Okay, so start small. That's what I always like to do. Start small. Make yourself a small file that says. That has a statement in there, right? That just has like, this is my first bash script, right? And try to read that file in as an argument and then print what's in the file. Okay? That's a small thing that you can do. The way to conquer these things that are kind of big projects is break them down into small bite-sized pieces. So try to have a small file called hello.txt or something that just says hello world in it. And you can take that file in as an argument to the bash script, and then it will print what's in there. It's a very small way to start. Oh, you got your cable.
So you have this line.
Yeah.
This is the reason why I put the dash.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, I
So,
forgot.
Flexibly offensive.
whenever
I
I
like
do this,
willingly
see
did
how
this,
they-
like people were like, you actually have it. It's like.
So here, inner file info.
I just saw the K54 and I know
It's reading
Yeah,
this,
and then
this
there's the
command
front.
right here. So what it does, and see why
But-
there's a blinking cursor here,
All I
is
wrote
because
in
it
there
goes
was
to
the
this,
command.
this
after
line,
the
and this
dash. And then
reads
now if I like run it.
what I'm
it
about to
gives me-
input on this line. So my input is going
I don't
to
think
be
that's like it was like a.
off, dot,
Okay, so what I'm looking for, right, you wrote the command, but in the command, you
Okay, and then it'll read that into the file that you typed in. And then it'll run the command that you want that you already typed in.
Yeah, but except I'm in this terminal, so I can't, I forgot that I can't.
And I don't want to have to go
Yeah,
in.
generalized.
I don't want to have to go in.
Yeah.
If I put a new.
That's how you're gonna get it.
Right?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, so that's
that
why.
makes
And
sense.
then I just do the dollar sign,
Change
file.
the script in the name of the file. What I'm asking for is I want to make it right when I tell that script what to do, but I tell you on the script, I have a space and then the name of the file I'm going to operate.
No, but well, I'm saying.
So I'm just generalizing.
Yeah, by saying,
Alright,
I was using
the,
see that.
that
It's
command that
into
you
file,
turned in,
file,
I can
Once I
enter
enter
command.
file name, say,
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
But I think there's a different way
I
of what
got
DJ's
the-
talking about. I think he's talking about like literally just like, execute and then this. So, like, I think he's talking about all in one line, so. Program name and then that.
You just have to trust
Yeah.
I couldn't have figured it
So,
out.
what file, I'm trying
That's
to.
what I was like, yeah, I think that's what I said.
But I thought like the only one that like this.
Look at the name, you built that file.
Thing. I don't know, it was like.
I'll have this file, sorry. Go ahead.
All right. This really shouldn't take too long. So let's give you 5 more minutes. All right. All I want you to do something small. Create a file called hello.txt or some text file. Put a small sentence in there, and then have it read in that file and print the contents. That's all I'm asking you to do.
Alright, so here, so instead of doing this right here, instead of read file, what you can do here is do $1. And then that's gonna input your first variable. If I read this correctly. So do this, and then I can do that, and then it'll do that.
Okay, so you're saying instead of just having read file as a command, you don't have to use $1.
Yeah, $1 because that's going to be, I guess it's bash. That means like the order of, arguments you have. Argument 1, argument 2. I forgot about that. I remember that was like, that's how you called it, but then I just didn't remember how it worked.
I wonder if it's like,
I'm not gonna lie, that must stop.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
Okay. So are you? You did the same case.
Well, it's your turn.
No, but yeah, I don't know why it didn't work.
Oh, it did work.
Wait, DJ, what did you want us
I
to
didn't
do?
even give me a chance.
You just wanted to like have an input and then like.
Have a file with some little sentence in there, and read it in, and then print it out.
Mine spelled differently, so it's not going.
It's not typing in anything.
It's broken. It's not broken. You just have to take controls. Yeah, but okay, run yours real quick one more time.
Okay. So I changed it to where it would have to be daytime, SH, and then I give it to all.
Okay, I get this.
Okay, so how I got there is I used this right here and then I replaced the name of the file. So it was auth.log for me after cron. I used $sign like, because it's going to take first argument and then that first argument should be auth.log.
No, I was saying that. Like,
The reason why I have that.
sorry, not you.
Now if I dash slash test my system,
Make it sound like a reading.
and I will like
it's an Android.
Actually, not have Linux, but Linux is an Android.
before I do the something.
You got an Android? I kicked out the group.
No, I actually do. Hey, I had an iPhone first. And then.
How does it feel?
All right, got about 1 more minute, and then we're gonna do this together.
Honestly, you could probably do it.
Oh, is that Kelly Purple?
Dude, actually, I kind of do.
It is not Kelly Purple.
Oh.
All right. Anybody figure it out?
Get it.
Close.
Close? Okay. All right. Okay. I'm going to end this misery. It is much, much easier than you think. All right. So nano take args.sh. All right. So I'm going to do my normal shebang /bin/bash. Okay. Right? Everything here's good, right? We understand that. Now I'm just going to say input file equals $1.
That's what I couldn't figure out was how to do an input.
Input file equals $1. And now I'm going to do cat $input file. Okay. Now we're going to save this and see if it works. So Control O, Enter, Control X to get out of there. And now I'm going to say sh take args.sh, and now I need to give it an argument, so I'm going to give it hello.txt. Input file not found. Uh-oh, guys. So let's do Control C and let's do ls. We have a hello.txt there, so that should be fine. What are we doing wrong? Let's take a look at our script again. Uh-oh. Input file not found. Input file, no such file or directory. So what does this mean when it says take args.sh3? Anybody have an idea?
The argument you provided isn't matching up with what he's expecting.
I mean, you can do that with
Let's do a nano here.
what's in your name.
Uh-oh. What happened? Right? So, there was a space on either side of the equals. Some languages let you do that. Is Bash one of those languages?
Apparently not.
Doesn't look like it. Not in the way that we formatted this. Okay? Let's take a look at that together. Let's take a look at that together again, right? Let's look at... Now, this, you guys thought this was going to be a super hard thing to do. It was not super hard, right? Not bringing this input file in, okay? All you have to do is that $1, okay? This is a common language we can use. So that means the first argument. In that command line, you write what you're going to use as the tool. In this case, the tool is our script. Then you have a space, and whatever's next after the space is going to become our first argument. So I said input file is whatever is the first argument, right? And then I want you to cat the contents of input file. Now we could have written this to another file so that when you run the script, it makes a file, right? And I'm going to show you a script here in a minute that also processes an auth.log file. It does a heck of a lot more than just do this thing. So what Aditi found over in pod 7, is that the right pod? Yeah. She's like, well, I just put the bin bash and then copied down all those commands that you put, and it worked. Yeah, it does work. But the problem there is that if I gave you a different file, auth.log.2, and you needed to process that, you would have to open up the bash script and change the name of that file in the script, and then save it and then run it. We call this hard coding. Hard coding the file name in, which is, it makes your script not very fun to use if you have to use it a lot. Okay? So this simple bringing in of an input file and then doing things to it can change. So you should be able to put together with this little file here, together with what we did earlier in the commands, you should be able to make a bash script that will take an auth.log file and print out when each cron job was opened. Okay? That's the only assignment I have for you, and that's due next Tuesday. Oh, go ahead.
I think we did it. At least I got it.
Okay, well then your homework's done, right? Okay. So, really quickly, I want to show you guys something. Okay? Okay, so here's a script that I wrote. It's a very crude, rudimentary script that I just cranked out in, I don't know, half an hour or something, to do some analysis on an auth.log file for a different class, because somebody, the people were doing it by hand. I said, you can write a script to do this, and they're like, oh, you couldn't really, like, that would be a really hard script. I'm like, not really. I'm not that great of a bash scripter, and I did this in like a half an hour. So I'm going to run this. Oh, okay, this is great. Yeah, there's something going on in line 19. So this must not be the final version of my bash script.
Well, you did say that you're not.
Yeah. Oh, what did we just prove? I'm not the best at a bash script. All right, so never mind. Line 19 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, yeah, I see what's happening here. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I'm incrementing a loop inside of it. It's not working. Okay, I'm going to make a change. I'm not going to show this because I don't want you guys to see what's in this script yet, because I'm going to have you do something similar. But I should be able to make a change really quickly. Here's the question. Can I get these changes made? Can I get this script working before class ends?
It takes you can't unzip it. No, you unzip it. Use extracting. That's no, it's not. It's extracting. They're two different things. Oh, yeah, the bigger file. Yes, it cannot like have Google Chrome open and extract. I do mind. Okay, fine.
DJ,
Yeah.
I'm supposed to turn this in. Just turn in like.
No, I'll make an assignment for it. I don't have one yet.
I was wondering. Do I just turn in like the file that I made?
You know how you don't have to really say what place you're looking in, and you know how you specify like you're looking at it in the offline log. So I had it for the
First of all, you're
but I
running
thought-
Windows 11.
I thought you didn't need. I thought you only needed.
That's your first
one.
option.
I needed to
So
specify
what,
the
you have
second.
And
Yeah, you need to
downgrade
Windows 10.
I look. I'll show you.
You got a 12 core? Bruh, I can unzip like 7 files and run Google Chrome just fine.
You have so many cores. There's just cores.
yeah, they just don't do it.
This is what I had to do.
It just works.
I had
But it's
no.
an OLED
If I
screen.
didn't do it twice, I would have worked. I
That's probably where all your resources are going. Yes, it does.
Is there a reason why it's not here?
You have a
Has to look like
GPU,
this, right?
non-existent one.
Oh, yeah, that's
I
what I
grab for it one time, and then that's it.
All right, guys, I think I'm going to do it. I just have to change some variable names.
That was actually kind of cool. What? What did you do? You did control, and then alt? Alt tab.
No, but this one.
Alt tab,
This
just like
one.
switches between tabs.
We use different names. I use file names.
You didn't know that?
I can't even remember.
I know.
I have a faint memory of that from sixth grade, bro. But we would switch from study island to games. Like, when you would press alt tab, like, yeah, if someone walked by, it's like, yeah.
You know, I play Smash Flash too, so you get all tab.
Yeah.
I mean, mine's still.
Yeah, both of us.
I did mine.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm not thinking.
Okay, folks. All right. So what I had in there, I had something that I had a complicated little loop that was going through, like, handling repeated entries because there's some log consolidation that happens in these logs. I just skipped that for now, just to show you proof of concept. So I just commented all those sections out. And this is just a basic raw analysis of this, okay? So I run this, and I give it my auth.log file. And then it analyzes it and creates a new file called this. If I highlight that, then I come down here and I type less, and then hit my middle mouse button, and then hit enter. This is the file that it creates. Here are the IP addresses that are attempting to log in with invalid usernames. It gives me a count, and then tells me the IP address. And the counts are, it shows me most down to least. Here are the IP address that we're attempting to log in as root. So this 72 failed. Forget that for now. That's because I took out, that comes from the lines where it was repeated, and I'm using cut because it'll say message repeated, and so that shifts the field that I need by 2. So instead of grabbing an IP address, it grabs failed. All right, so forget this part. But this all here is this address, 209.141.43.186, attempted to log in as root 69 times and failed. This one this was 28 times, 11 times. So these are IP addresses that are trying to log in as root. These are IP addresses that try to log in as Ubuntu, which is the other valid user. And here are the invalid usernames that were used in login attempts. So 27 times they tried to log in as admin, 20 times as user, 10 as Oracle, 4 as Pi. And here are the IP addresses. Oh, this is repeating, so yeah, forget that. So that's a script thing. So can you see how a script like this might be helpful? If you feed it a new auth.log file, it can do this analysis for you. And if I have an enterprise and I have auth.log files from many different machines, I could run this on there, or I could combine those auth.log files into one log file and then run this script on it, and it'll help me figure out what IP addresses are targeting my network. It'll help me figure out what usernames people are trying to use to get into the network, right? So this is the type of thing I want you guys to do for a final project in this class. It'll need to be a little bit more robust than this, but this is absolutely something that you guys can do. So this script itself is something we're going to do as a homework assignment somewhere toward the, like right after the midterm, I would guess. We may be able to go faster, but I would guess somewhere around the midterm. My hope is to give you guys about 6 weeks to kind of develop your cool bash tool. And I do want to give you guys some weeks in there where we take a break from the bash stuff so you can focus on getting the test out stuff. I'm sensitive to the fact that I'm asking you to do a lot for this course, but you're gonna walk away with a lot of good stuff. That's the plan. So you're going to be familiar with Linux, know how to navigate in there. You're going to know how to do bash scripts. You're going to know a lot of the tools in Linux, right? So I hope you're getting excited. Congratulations on writing your first bash scripts. And I'll hop in Canvas now and make a place for you to turn in your homework. Okay? This will be an individual homework assignment. I don't mind if you collaborate as groups. Those of you who've had me before, what's my rule about collaborating? Huh? Yeah, absolutely don't cheat, right? But I want you to tell me who you collaborated with, right? Who did you collaborate with? So if you're collaborating with members of your group, that's fine. If you go to some website that shows you how to take, like let's say today I Googled how to take file as input for bash script, and I went to a website and the website showed me that I could put input file equals $1. Do I need to write that website down? No. Right? That's a very common, all that's doing is telling me how to take an argument in. Will I get mad at you if you write that website down? Absolutely not. Please, go ahead. Right? Do you want to share it with other people? That's fine. This is where I learned how to do this. But you're going to find a million websites that have that. That's not anything special. Right? The fact that I showed you how to do that, you guys aren't going to walk out of here and be like, oh my gosh, this really freaking cool dude named DJ, he took a text file in as input to a bash script and printed it on the screen. It's so freaking amazing. Right? That's not something I can copyright. But if somebody put together some exercises maybe, or they made their own script and you went to their GitHub and you got their script, now that's a collaborator. That's a product that they've created that's new. Repeating things that are in a manual no. If I tell you like, hey guys, this is a chair, and a chair is something that people typically sit in, but sometimes you can stand on a chair to reach things that are up high. Right? If I try to patent that idea, they'll take my money, but are they going to give me a patent? No, because it's common knowledge. Right? It's probably also common knowledge that this would be a bad chair to stand in. Why? Unless you've got good core strength, you might fall off of this, right? And it's got wheels too, right? So the point I'm trying to make is do your own work as far as the write-up and writing the script. I want you to write the script on your own. It should not look like everybody else in your group's script.
Are you like about to post it? Or?
I will make a thing for it. The homework was to make a bash script that takes in an auth.log file as input and prints all the cron jobs that open.
Okay.
You have to do a write-up first?
Huh?
You have to do a write-up first?
So the write-up, what's the write-up? The write-up is commenting the code. What do you say?
I was going to say probably what each piece of the code does.
Right.
That's
So
your
put
typical
comments in the code.
requirement.
Okay, so when I say comments in the code, let me show you what I mean by that. I know we're over time a little bit, so please bear with me. Right?
Like pound sign for comments.
I don't think we do pound signs here because
Right, so right here, I would put a hashtag, right? And then I could put a comment in here and say, take the first argument, okay. The first argument is the input file. Now that may not be great. I may want to put here something like should be the auth.log file. Right? So, does that help me understand what's going on with this script? Yes, it does, right? So for this next one, I would say print the contents of the file to standard output. All right, so you're just printing the contents of the file. That's what this line does. So I'm saying what each line of my file does, right? And typically what I'll do when I create files, you can do a little thing here where you say author, DJ Hovermale, and I can say 2023, what is today? It's August 24th, right? Or I can just type in August 24th, 2023, right? And maybe put my class in here. So this is for IS 480. Please put KB after the IS 480 Because that's showing me it's Cali Bash instead, as opposed to social engineering. Probably not going to be writing bash scripts in social engineering, but it's still nice whenever you do 480 to do that. And then at the bottom here, you can just do a comment and say collaborators. Collaborators. Let me fix that. Right, so here's where I can then, I can put, I need to keep doing this, but I can put who I worked with.
Somebody's car.
Right? So this is what I mean by comments. Any questions?
We did it differently.
We did a
but
little
kind of came out the same way.
Okay.
Our input was.
Right, so when you guys, this is an individual assignment, so each and all of these will be. I put you in groups. You can collaborate with your group members, but you need to write this and do your own work. Why do I say that?
So you learned something.
Why don't I just make it all the projects group projects?
Because if you're not in the driver's seat, you're not actually going to learn how to do it.
You're dang right you're not. Okay? But a whole lot more if you write this yourself. And then you can say you wrote it yourself. Right? If you have a script that you guys do as a group, and then you're trying to talk to somebody at a job interview, and you're like, hey, I got this script off your GitHub. Hey, tell me what this line where it talks about like with the lambda thing. What's this lambda line? And you're like, oh man, Dawson wrote that. I have no idea what that does. How are you going to look to that person?
Like an idiot.
Yeah. So that's another reason. If you put comments in there, right? They're not going to ask questions like that. Like, hey, this line that says cat input file, what's it doing? Well, then you could just pull up your thing and be like, oh yeah, that prints the contents of the file to the standard output. I think it's just standard out. I don't think there's the put at the end. Yeah, that looks better. Okay? Everybody understand what the assignment is? Awesome. All right. Well, sorry to keep you 8 minutes over. You get your 8 minutes back from when I was late on Tuesday. All right. We'll see you guys next Tuesday. Should be fairly easy. Keep up with that test out stuff because it will eat you alive if you don't keep up with it. Yeah, you want to show me?
Yeah. Like,
Let me stop the recording.
I was just curious on what you want. I just want to ask if you were looking for